Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the DLLS Cowboys podcast. It's good to see you guys. We got some bombshells. We got some scoopage from our very own Clarence Hill when it comes to Micah Parsons and an extension with the Cowboys. And we've got some insight on what they're going to do in the first round of the NFL draft. Get on in here. The show starts. Meow. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to the DLLS Cowboys podcast. It's good to see you. What is this? What is this? It's a Tuesday. On a Tuesday.
April 1st. April Fools.
All right, we got jokes. Anybody have a good April Fools prepared for us?
You really can't yell this one out like, is it talent or is it not?
You can yell it.
Is it talent or is it not?
Doesn't really flow
First
like
one in
that.
the chat.
First one in the chat, though.
Yeah. Steven speaking equals Angry Jeff today.
Jerry speaking equals Angry Jeff
Jerry
today.
is talking right now. I need live on-air Jeff reaction. I don't like that there will be a rant sometime during the show. I don't know. Is that what I do?
Yes.
Every time they talk, I yell?
That's what you do.
Jerry is talking right now.
Be true to who you are.
Steven has talked. Shotty has talked. But we have scoopage from our very own Clarence Hill about Micah Parsons, and that's where we will start the broadcast before we get into those other topics, including what they're trying to get done to find CeeDee Lamb a friend. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff. Next to me is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holly.
Oh, Jesse Holly went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Next to him is the second greatest beat
I
writer
don't deserve it today.
in the history of the Cowboys, Mr. Joe Hoyt.
Tell him something, Joe.
I am in second.
Oh, second's super good. If I was like the second best Cowboy talker man ever, that would be awesome.
I mean,
Whoa.
Well, where does it put you?
He thinks he's first. He thinks that he is number one.
Oh, I thought you'd do something that's actually better than me. I thought, wow.
number one.
We are
How you
getting toxic.
How you guys doing? It's good to see you.
Yeah,
man.
it's good.
good
People
to see you.
talked. Things were said.
People talked and
People
things
wrote.
were said. AllDLLS.com is where you can get all the things that Joe
Can we get the
writes.
vibes going today? Can we get the vibes?
Yeah.
Can we get the vibes?
He deserves it.
Club hop hop, where legends drop. Clarence Hill just can't stop. Breaking news, you gotta hop in club hop hop.
Got on I'm in my prime shirt.
Okay.
Doc Holiday for you.
It's one of your favorite movies, isn't it?
Tombstone?
Yeah.
Might be my favorite. And I
I've never
believe-
seen it, but I heard great things.
I believe Doc Holliday, played by Val Kilmer in Tombstone, is the greatest character in the history of cinema.
Wow.
Oh, he's amazing. Second is John Goodman's character in The Big Lebowski.
See,
Yeah.
I think John Candy in Home Alone.
Is he in Home Alone?
Yeah, he's with the band that travels. It's really good stuff.
Micah Parsons is about to sign a contract. Maybe.
He's agreed to it.
Kinda. So that's what? Oh, Captain Thunder's in the movie.
Oh,
Wow! Let's
on.
pull it up.
Let's
Pull
hear
it
this
up.
one. Let's hear this
Pull
one.
it up. Captain Thunder.
It got my name in it, so I don't know what it is.
Jesse, you are the first objective host on the
Oh.
show. Thank you for calling out Greedy Dak last show. His selfishness and incompetence must go. That is true. I
well,
forgot that Jesse did some
wait,
Dak hating,
wait,
and that is right up
wait.
his alley.
Wait.
Oh, Jesse said, if Dak doesn't win the Super Bowl this year, I'm
didn't
out on
I
Dak.
didn't say that.
Yeah, something like that.
I didn't. That was
close.
so his compliment was misguided?
It was close.
Objective, I am, but I don't think you got that one quite right about what I actually said about Dak. But
Oh, okay.
I'll say this: that particular quote and went a little viral. It got people a little bit upset.
Oh, because you were hating?
Oh, I don't think I was hating.
You're being
but
messy?
I was,
There's a little hating in there.
A little messy?
was I being messy?
A little messy?
Let me see. Was I being? I don't think I was being messy.
Messy without an eye?
I think I was being a little honest. From my opinion.
It was just one of those things that you know is going to have legs. When you say anything, and
I
then you
didn't
say,
think that,
or
though.
I'm out.
I didn't.
But
But
if he doesn't do this
I'm the
year,
same
I'm
one.
out.
Who was? See, we're going off. Who was the one
Jump
that
off
said,
if you want to.
Jump off if you want to. Remember, I jumped off.
He did.
You
I
literally
jumped off
Yeah.
months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago,
Yeah.
when our show was larger, I jumped
Yeah.
off then.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You were, just a quarterback expressing confidence in himself. You were hating on him then. You're hating on him now. And I think that that's good that you can represent Captain Thunder on the show.
Yeah.
No.
That's
And
your
Joe
audience.
and I will handle the
No.
rest.
That's right.
No.
So there is interesting things happening with Micah Parsons
One of the wilder sentences I've ever seen.
from our very own Clarence Hill, who got a scoop. The Cowboys have offered Micah Parsons a record-breaking contract. Okay, they've offered it to him. Now, in the very first, I'm only going to give you a little bit of this story. You got to sign to be a diehard to get all the content. I'm only going to give you this beginning part, though. The Cowboys have not only offered Micah Parsons the richest non-quarterback contract in NFL history, but Parsons and owner Jerry Jones agreed on the deal, per a source familiar with the negotiations. So here's the thing. That sounds like Micah Parsons got a contract extension, and it's over.
Oh, no.
That has not happened. Because the Cowboys talks, this is still from Clarence's article, the Cowboys talks with Parsons have not included his agent, David Mulugheta.
Yep.
So those two sentences are going to have a real challenge working together. Parsons and owner Jerry Jones agreed on the deal. But the Cowboys talks with Parsons have not included his agent.
Yeah.
And if anybody has a rant ready, you can do it.
Oh.
I'm trying these days because I've had multiple people in the last 48 hours tell me online that I'm always negative about Jerry and Stephen. And while that's probably true because I don't think that they're qualified to run an NFL team, I hope it's not unfair or I'm just ready to attack them at all times. So I want to start with this. I want to start with the positive.
Oh, okay.
The NFL has a salary cap. And if you can get a player to agree to something without his agent and get him to go to his agent and say, this is what we're signing, you've done a good job for your team. If you can get that done, it's good work.
Yeah.
So, like, if Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons, and Jerry said they spent 5 or 6 hours talking and that essentially they've agreed on term, guarantees, amount, if that were true, and Micah went to his agent and said, look, Jerry and I worked it out. I'm signing it.
Yeah.
Then Jerry did a really good job. It's smart. You're winning doing that if you can do it. They pulled it off with Tyron Smith. They basically got him to agree to his contract and say, I want to sign this. I would imagine Osa's might have been kind of similar because he left money on the table.
A lot.
So he might have gone and said, hey, this is what we're doing. But when it doesn't work, which the vast majority of the time it won't work, because most guys, especially the guys who are the best players in football, have really, really good agents. Like Dak. Dak had Todd France, David Mulugheta. They work at the same place.
Yep.
And they're both incredible agents. Micah tweeted out 10 days ago how incredible his agent is and how other people are having owners get over on him, and it doesn't happen if you have a great agent. So in my mind, we can say that Jerry and Micah have talked, and they're like, yep, those numbers are really, really good. I would tell you, and here comes Jeff saying bad things about the Joneses, I would say their negotiations haven't started yet because they haven't talked to the guy who's going to negotiate the contract. They haven't started yet. The negotiations start when you call the guy who's going to negotiate. Micah ain't negotiating.
No.
Micah loves coming into the Star and talking to Jerry and hanging out. I bet you he would love to talk to him and rank quarterbacks too. Like Micah, that's fun for him. He wants to sport and do it and be involved in everything, and that's great. It's awesome. If you haven't talked to the agent, you haven't started negotiating. This is not near done. It's not done. It's not close to done. It's not any of that stuff. They haven't started yet.
Especially when the number that the market that they're at, because they offered a record-setting deal for him, that market could go up. We could have another increase. You could have TJ Watt say, you know what, actually, remember I took kind of a team-friendly deal last time? Nah, I'm not going to have that. I'm going to get paid. I want a 2 years, $45 million deal. And it's like, oh, shoot. Okay, now Micah Parsons' money has gone up. One thing, to your point, I mean, I wonder what David Mulligat's reaction was when he saw Clarence's story, truly. Because he's like, maybe like, oh, that's cute. Maybe he did a spit take. I don't know, because...
Without knowing him, it's one of two things. It's either you're furious at the player, or I think more likely he giggled.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, yeah, Mike is in there talking to you or whatever.
Yeah. Because otherwise, why would you have David Mulligat as your agent? Because ultimately, like, you've seen guys be their own agents before for players. You've seen Richard Sherman negotiate his own deal. I think Micah Parsons has enough confidence in his intelligence and ability that if he really, really wanted to, he could do it on his own. But he also knows that that's not going to be a thing. You're not going to get the best deal possible.
I think that Joe is right that Micah thinks he could.
Yeah. Micah,
because I
for
also,
sure.
in my 20s, would have thought, oh, I could do that too. Listen to the Athletes First podcast from yesterday with Todd France about how, and this is, again, same agency that Micah's agent works for, and he's equally good at his job. They're two of the best agents in the world. And he said, after 3 years, when the Cowboys came for the Dak deal, and remember, the Cowboys and Jerry got the fan base, a lot of them, mad at Dak because they were like, we've offered him $100 million guaranteed. I don't know what they want from us. And they did. They offered that. And Todd France he goes through it. He's like, and I had to sit Dak down and go like, here's why this is not good.
Yeah.
Because here's what you need to know about injury guarantees, and here's what you need to know about, and walking you through, like, here's what I do, and here's why that's not good enough. While Dak's like, but everybody's mad at me because they're saying that they offered me all of this money. And this is the setup happening right now.
Yeah.
That Jerry and Micah have talked, and Jerry is today saying, we've agreed on pretty much everything. So when something doesn't get done, people will get mad at Micah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, Micah said, and Jerry said,
yeah.
And they're going to call the agent, and the agent's going to be like, right, so here's what we're going to get. Here's the structure. Here's the years. Here's why even just the generic guarantee number isn't the number you need to know. Here is an education on everything that I do if you want it, and why I'll tell you when it's done. And they need to call me,
Yeah.
like, so we can start.
Yeah.
They haven't started negotiating.
See, if Micah wants to talk, go talk to David. Like that, go talk to him.
But that's not as fun.
But go talk
It's
to
fun to talk to
him.
Jerry.
But they got an open door policy, Jesse.
Because David's going to tell you, because if I'm, and David's not me and I'm not him, and he's probably sitting somewhere, and he probably is laughing. He's
I
probably
bet he's not worried about it at all.
He's
like,
probably having
let me know
a
when Jerry's gonna
latte.
call.
He's probably having, but at some point in time, he probably has to call Micah and go, listen, don't go back to their office. Like, just because there has to be a tad bit of fear
He might go sign something.
that he might go and sign something.
For sure.
Right? Like there has to be, and I'm not saying it's a lot, but there has to be a tad bit of fear that he might go in there and they might, that is actually a form of abuse. Because Jerry and Stephen and Todd Williams, they know that Micah doesn't know the fine print. Right? Because you start talking numbers, but then you start reading that fine print and you go, oh, those numbers are contingent upon these things happening that's the part, that's the abuse part of it.
How long was your contract? How big was your contract? How many pages? It's not a one-page document.
No. But it's not a one-page document, but trust me, I'm not remotely close comparing mine to what Mike is.
No, but what I'm saying is there's so many details to it.
There's
This
so
is
many
not just
details
like
in it.
hey, you're getting paid
Yes.
$100 million. Congrats.
Right.
Sign.
My contract here is like 16 pages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but it's a form of abuse that they would try to go in and have these conversations with Micah. And David should just say, listen, bro, like let's come talk to me. Come talk to me. And maybe he has already. Maybe he's already laid it out to him of what it should look like, what it should sound like. But I would tell him, don't go back in there. There's no reason for you to go back in there. There's nothing you have to talk about. And remind him, you guys are not friends. You're not friends. You're not family. They don't have the best interest in mind for you. They understand and know that our job is to take care of the Dallas Cowboys. Mm-hmm. You're a commodity in that. So like they don't have the best interest for you. They want to get the best deal for them. Not because if they wanted the best for you, they would be like, hey,
you write it.
Yeah, you write it, we'll sign it.
Blank check.
But they don't. And so it's almost criminal when you hear it the way that it comes out.
Whoa.
But
We got a monster from Jason.
Jason.
I would love a full minute of prime Jerry and Stephen hate. No, listen. We're not. I don't want to.
He paid for it.
He paid for it.
He paid.
That's
for
$1%. Wow.
He paid.
I'm not.
You're
That
like,
is not a brand I want to live in.
You're like a stripper.
That's not a brand I want to live in.
They pay for it. You got to do it. Bands will make you dance. Ranch will make you dance. Hey, ranch will make you dance.
Okay, check it out. So here's the thing. All right, here's the thing.
Here we go.
Here we go. And I want to start again with
a positive.
If Jerry, in his little chats with Micah, gets him to sign a contract without his agent involved, that's a win for your football team. You want the team to win. You want every player to sign for less and get a worse deal so that you can get more players, in theory, which they wouldn't do anyway. But the example of where Micah Parsons exists, the best example of that on your roster is either CeeDee Lamb or Dak Prescott. He's the best at what he does, or close enough that it doesn't matter, that he's going to get the most money. And the Joneses are running the Jones playbook. And the Jones playbook, when it comes to negotiations, is not that it works for them. It works sometimes with mid-level players that they're able to kind of get around the agent. Shout out to the time they got it to work with Tyron. They got him to sign a 10-year deal and be underpaid for 9 years. That was incredible. If they pulled that off with Micah, they crushed it. And you as a fan, I mean, I cheer for millionaire over billionaire, and I cheer for thousandaire over millionaire, just in general in society. But you want your team to save as much as you can on every player so you can get all the good players. But their playbook is, yes, we're chatting with the player, and we are expecting that somehow this is going to get this thing done. And because of that, we're awesome at this. We are going to win. We're going to get the best deal possible. We're going to save some money for ourselves. We're going to save money against the salary cap, which we're not going to spend on better players, so it doesn't matter anyway. But the way that it plays out is now you get all the way to training camp. Again, Athlete's First podcast yesterday with Todd France, Dak's agent. Then you get all the way to training camp when they actually call the agent.
Yep.
It's like, crap, we need to get this done.
Football starting soon.
Yeah, it's time for football. And now you're up against it. And there's no point in the player signing like right this second, because a year from now, you're going to owe me $6 million more a year. You had a chance 6 months ago, and they're spending the time that they could be actually signing their player, hanging out in the office with the player who knows that his agent is super badass. And so what's going to happen is Micah's not going to sign anything. We're going to get to camp. Micah's going to miss OTAs, which Shotty said he expects him to be at. He's going to miss it because you haven't gotten a deal done, because you haven't talked to the guy who's going to get the deal done, and you think you're doing something genius when you're doing something negligent and lazy and bad for winning at football and building a winning football team. So anyway, what I was saying is, if they get Micah to sign that, it's genius. And I support Jerry and Stephen trying to get this thing done. They're very smart. Jerry's a Hall of Famer now. Coming up next, we'll either talk more about Micah or we'll talk about the wide receiver 2 things coming from Brian Schottenheimer, what the Cowboys draft plans on. What of those things are coming next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast? Sorry.
No, it's all good, man. I good people at Timeline. And this is why you're able to do what it is that you're doing, because we're on that timeline together. We are on that timeline together. Baby. Timeline it sells health and longevity supplements featuring their proprietary MitoPure ingredients. MitoPure works with the cells in your body to help reverse age-related decline. While your body may be crap,
mine looks great.
No, it looks great, but it functions bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But my good friends at Timeline can get you right. Head over to timeline.com, use the promo code, and get 10% off your order of MitoPure. I'm on that Timeline right now. I got to tell you, it's good. I'm feeling good. My body feels great. My skin is looking good. We're reversing the aging. Now, this hair thing, if I get this hairline back right, I'm gonna be
What
cooking.
if Timeline grows your hair back too?
Listen, if it can, I'm cooking. All right? But head over to timeline.com and you too can be cooking like us. Use the promo code DLLS to get 10% off.
Shout out to the American Rodeo, which is the richest weekend in rodeo, returning for one weekend only, and that is at Globe Life Field. Don't miss the world's top rodeo athletes competing against the brightest rising stars in the sport for over $3 million in prize money. World champions Haley Kinsel, Stetson Wright. Stetson's a good cowboy name.
It's a good name.
Jackie Crawford might not even be his real first. That might be a character.
That's a good character.
I would do that.
Stetson is good.
Casey Field, they all return to Globe Life Field with an American Rodeo title on the line. Come for the rodeo, stay for the party. Hottest stars in country music are going to take the stage all weekend long. Who will be Rodeo's next millionaire? It's back-to-back nights of unmatched competition at the American Rodeo. Friday is the final qualifying round where dreams are made or broken. Then Saturday, it's the championship round where the best of the best go head-to-head for the ultimate title. One weekend coming up, 2 unforgettable nights in Arlington.
Jeff.
Yeah, what happened?
We're objective. And so, we're supposed to take everything and just disseminate information. I'll tell you that there are times.
I'm objective.
No, I'm objective.
You heard what Captain Thunder said.
Hold on.
You heard what Captain Thunder said. He did $5 Canadian.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm the objective one.
That's
here.
fair.
I didn't mean anything I said last segment. That guy just paid $60.
But here you go.
I was making all that up. They're the best at this.
But here I go, because sometimes Jerry has quotes that genuinely just kill me.
Don't do this to me.
And here's one. He was talking about the negotiations with Micah Parsons and how they've had these kind of backdoor deals kind of going.
I can't be here for
And
this.
he goes, the agent is not a concern here. I don't even know his name.
That's going to play well, brother. That just cost you $2 more million a year.
I don't know his name.
Wow.
Like this,
The most famous agent in the NFL right now.
This agent is going to end with David saying, everything you wrote, we agree to. Now add $1 million every year. Look me dead in my eye and say my name.
I don't know his name.
Make him call him Toby. Make Jerry call him.
Yeah.
Say, what's my name, boy? That's what David gonna do to Jerry. What's my name, boy?
Agent is not.
I don't even know his name.
I don't even know his name.
Like, how do
Come
you
on,
think
yo.
that it is wise?
That's wild.
And this is
That's wild.
And that's a Jones thing. Like, the power of ego is incredible. Because when Micah talks to Jerry Jones, he'd be like, well, that agent's going to try to slow us down and not try to get things done. He's not on your team. I am.
It's abuse.
And it is absurd. Jerry, if you think that is going to work, if you think talking crap about one of the most powerful agents in the sport while you are trying to sign one of his clients to a market-setting deal is a good idea,
Wow.
Jerry doesn't do that. I can't That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard Jerry say. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because that's actively working against your football team's ability to get something done with one of your best players.
I'm gonna be totally honest here. That's bad.
I think he's losing it.
That's bad. And if Pop was here, he'll have it. So I'll step in for the Pop.
He's gonna be here at
right
11:30.
I'll step in for the Pop.
He's gonna be here. He's gonna be here in 8 minutes.
For Jerry to say that, and yup, I'm going here. Yup, I'm going here. For Jerry to say that about one of the most powerful black agents in the National Football League that I don't even know his name is insane to me. This is one of the, if not the biggest agent in the National Football League. He owns the rights to some of the highest contracts in football history. And you come out of your mouth and you say, I don't even know his name.
It's so dumb.
Is incredibly disrespectful. It is wildly disrespectful for someone who's put in that kind of work in this league that you're a part of. Like, even if you're saying it in jest or tongue in cheek, and I'm hoping that you did, that is insanely,
I would like to hear the audio.
Insanely disrespectful from Jerry Jones.
Hopefully you never want to do business with Jordan Love, Deshaun Watson, Derek Stingley, Christian Wilkins, J.C. Horn, Jalen Ramsey, Calvin Ridley, Antoine Winfield, A.J. Terrell, Justin Fields, Derwin James, Carlton Davis, Buda Baker, Xavier McKinney, Jesse Bates, DJ Reed, Javon Holland, Darnell Mooney, Brandon Stevens, C.J. Stroud, Andre Sisco, Kyle Pitts, Malik Hooker on your team, Joseph Osai, Micah Parsons, obviously, Charles Omenihu, Xavier Woods. Like, you've negotiated with this guy. I just named guys who have been on your team.
It's crazy.
Like, that's just intentionally disrespectful.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's gross.
He also said that he's not trying to demean him in any way, but this is not about the agent.
But
I'm just sharing more of the quote.
But
It's everything.
But
to
it
do with the
is.
agent.
Like, that is. I don't want to do this. I don't want
Like,
to
this
do
is
this.
the business of what you do in this contract has everything to do with the agent. You're never going to negotiate. I shouldn't say never. But you are not, especially that level of a player, you're not negotiating with Micah Parsons. As hard as you try and want to talk to, if Micah has any understanding how this thing goes, and I
he tweeted 10 days ago how great his agent is, and
I
other
think
people
that
get
Micah
screwed.
does. I think that Micah does. I want
Micah
to
does.
believe
Micah
that
does.
Micah truly understands how big and important this is. You're not dealing with Micah. You are going to deal with the dude whose name that you don't know, that you're getting ready to have to write a large check once he gets finished working you over. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think that's just the power of ego. And I don't want to dismiss, not that it's an excuse, and to the guy who's like, yeah, you think because some people are negative about the team, being negative will make you money. I don't fake anything at my job. I don't fake anything. I think we would probably do even better in terms of viewership if we were just incredibly positive about everything all the time. But I just think that's the power of the billionaire ego. Like, you think like in Jerry's brain, he's talking to Micah Parsons. Like, we are the primaries.
Yeah.
You and I agree on this, and we can do this. Because the guy who looks out for your best interests doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I'll just jump right over that. It's me and you. And if you don't want to deal straight with me, what? I'm Jerry. You're the player. Like, it's an ego and rich thing. Maybe wealthy, not necessarily rich. Wealthy. You got to get to a certain level to have that going on in your brain. It's their inability to learn from scenarios like this before. Because Micah is way different than Dak, right? Because Dak basically always told them, it's not my stuff.
Yeah.
Talk to my agent.
Right.
But because Micah is a very different personality, he'd love to come shoot the S with Jerry. He'd love to, he's on his podcast talking about how much money he does or doesn't need. So if the guy who's going to pay me wants to sit down and talk about, what do you want, that much money? Like, he's going to have a great time talking to Jerry Jones about that stuff. But the idea that you're going to eliminate on a market-setting contract the professional who's in charge of negotiating it is so egomaniacal. And the root of all of the things they do wrong, they're all rooted in the same thing. And it's the massive ego and the inability to learn from things that consistently happen to you from doing the same actions over and over. And then Stephen the other day was in denial about it. Stephen was like, we dismiss the people who think we wait too long on these things or whatever.
They have no credibility.
When Stephen said we waited too long on Dak, the man who said we dismiss your credibility if you think we wait too late said it himself about the player. Ego is a hell of a drug. I'm sorry, Jesse. Wild.
To do all of that and just incredibly demean and disrespect the person you're going to have to work closely with on a marketing setting deal, like whatever room there was for grace and for negotiation, you might have just killed. You might have just literally killed that, and now he wants blood. He's already a shark. Like, he's literally already a shark.
And you're in cognitive decline.
The other quote he had too was,
don't you do this.
No, we talked about it before the show. Was just saying in terms of this contract, I don't view it as urgent at all in terms of getting a Micah Parsons deal done. I'd rather pay more and get it right than pay less and get it wrong, which means that they still, in his mind, potentially need to see more from Micah Parsons. from three-time Defensive Player of the Year finalist Micah Parsons.
If the Cowboys start 5-0 or 4-1, Jeff will be one of the people saying, "How about them?" I want the Cowboys to win. What I don't understand is the gigantic. Well, I don't want to not. I do understand. I want to watch sports, enjoy it, and hope my team wins, and that be it. Like, I think
The
that's
Philly
really
show
fun.
had a lot of fun this year.
But we talk about the team for a living, so you can't ignore whatever the story is. And if there's something that you think they don't do properly, then you talk about it. And I want them to win. I'll be cheering them on when they win. Yeah, absolutely. That doesn't make me a hypocrite. That, I think, makes me a rational human being.
No,
I want this team to win.
We all do.
It's why I don't like when they do things that aren't conducive to it. You can still draft awesome players and be like, holy crap, look at him go. Wee. And that would be awesome. And I hope it happens. Clarence Hill, who's out there with Jerry, is going to join the show next. And I'd imagine we can keep kicking these things around with Chill. And that'll be In Club Pop Pop next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast.
Owning a property comes with plenty of challenges. Overpaying property tax should not be one of them. And let me tell you how you can have your property taxes contested. You are like, you're like a football player who doesn't quite understand contracts, right? You have this talent and this wealth, but you don't really understand how this contract. So what do you have to do? If you're a football player, you hire an agent. If you're a homeowner, you go and you hire Ownwell.
Yes, you
what
do.
Ownwell what they'll do is they believe when it comes to paying property tax that you should pay what is fair. Just take 3 minutes. Well, I'll be honest with y'all, a little bit more than 3 minutes, about 7. And what they do, you sign up with Ownwell, and they then go and protest the property tax that you have been raised. They lower them. I had my property tax raised like $600. It's crazy. Like I want this thing to be lower. So I hooked up with Ownwell. They too can get you right. Head over to ownwell.com and use the promo code DLLS, and Ownwell will take care of that dispute for your property tax today.
Shout out to our friends at Sleeper, where the promo code is DLLS Boys. It's always been the best fantasy league platform, but now it is where you make your picks, baby, the daily fantasy. You go to Sleeper, and whatever sport you love, it's just, hey, I think this guy's going to have more or less than the projected stats. Baseball, I don't know, pick your Corey Seager, total bases tonight, or hits, or going to hit a home run. Basketball, points, rebounds, assists. I guess you could use Anthony Davis. You can't use Luka. I mean, you can use whoever you want. I was just trying to name people in here. But you can pick whoever you want. And the more picks that you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. They'll also keep you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries. It's our friends at Sleeper. So download the Sleeper app, use the code DLLS Boys, and you'll get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Operation in over 25 states. All right, let's step inside Club Pop Pop with the great Clarence Hill.
Club
Club Pop Pop, where legends drop. Clarence Hill just can't stop. Breaking news, you gotta hop in Club Pop Pop.
So Clarence, has Micah Parsons got a deal done? And do you think he'll learn Micah Parsons' agent's name at some point?
Man, that's so crazy. It's very disrespectful for him to say he doesn't know Micah Parsons' agent's name. He wouldn't say that about Jimmy Sexton. He wouldn't say that about Todd France. That's totally disrespectful for him to go there. Jerry was all over the map. I'm all over information overload. I've been up since 6 a.m. I was working the room last night where I got my information, my scoop that no one had until Jerry confirmed today about a deal being done. From Shotty at 7 a.m. to Jerry being all over the map. And you talk about some of the crazy things he said. He said, there's never been anything I wanted that I couldn't have.
I'm telling you, he has. I don't know of there's like a couple other people in the running, but I don't know of a bigger ego than Jerry Jones. Like, we cover the Cowboys. I want the Cowboys to win. I swear I do. I am not a Cowboy hater.
Yes.
The ego of that dude is insane.
The ego of rich dudes, and we're talking about, we're at a place full of rich people. West Palm, it's just a whole different world. I was talking to Shotty about it. He just talked about being down there. This is a whole different world. He was going on the Bravo Eugenie, and certainly he's the son of Marty, and he's been to different places. And certainly he was down here as a kid, but just they live differently than we do. They think differently than we do, and certainly Jerry Jones is part of that. Number one, he says they have a meeting of the minds with Micah Parsons on a contract, on numbers, on everything. And I was told it's the richest non-quarterback contract ever. And it just hasn't been done because, they have not talked to the agent, and why they haven't talked to the agent, I don't know. He said, I don't need to talk to the agent because I'm signing the check and Micah's the one who's playing. But you still need an agent, and Micah's not doing anything without his agent. None of it makes any sense. But they want to do it. It's not a situation about that Micah still needs to prove something. I heard you said that something earlier. They have a meeting of the minds. They have the numbers that they want to get done and want to do it. They want Micah done, but it won't get done until they get on the same page and get in cahoots with the agent, which they haven't done. And I was told that Micah told them to call the agent And I asked Jerry specifically about that. He hemmed and hawed and said, well, after I finished with Micah, Micah called Steven but he never really gave a firm answer on whether they actually tried to talk to the agent after Micah instructed them to talk to the agent.
I don't even. It's
At
wild.
what point in
I don't.
time? At what point in time does David Malugetta just tell Micah, "Stop"? You don't have to go back in the office. You don't have to talk to him anymore. You don't have to negotiate anymore. Continue to train in the offseason. Continue to do your podcast, and let me handle the rest of it.
Can you
At what
tell
point
Micah
does
to
he say,
stop?
Micah,
Can
we
you tell
got that
Micah to stop?
MFer's going to learn my name?
Yeah. Can you tell Micah to stop podcasting? Can you tell Micah to stop tweeting? At the end of the day,
No.
it behooves both.
I'm not saying to stop podcast. I'm saying David telling Micah, don't go back in there and talk to them no more. Like you have nothing to say to them about contractual things anymore. If they want to talk to you about that, they got my number.
I believe that David probably has said similar things to Micah already. But as Stephen said yesterday, Micah likes to talk about his business. Jerry said, Micah asked me for my cell phone number so I can call him. He can talk to me anytime. He said, Micah's one of 3 people with my cell phone number. We all asked for a cell phone number. He wouldn't give it to us. But he said, Micah's one of 3 people with his cell phone number. So Micah likes to talk and wants to talk. And so the Cowboys are open to that. And Jared says, as long as I got to deal with Micah and Micah's okay with it, then why do I need to talk to the agent? The agent's not going to be on the field. It makes no sense.
So he doesn't know how the sport works? The owner doesn't know how contracts in his sport work?
my
After
God.
Todd France put him over the desk? He doesn't know that
And
the
then
agent's
he
the one?
tried to relitigate the Dak conversation, saying, well, I did talk to Dak. I had conversation with Dak outside of Todd France. Well, Steven said yesterday that Dak said, talk to my agent about my business. Don't talk to me. And we well understood. That's how it was with the Dak negotiations. The Todd France did the talking. They did not negotiate with Dak. And Jerry tried to relitigate that and said that, yeah, they did talk to Dak. Like they talked to Tony and they talked to Emmett and they talked to Dion and all these history guys I talked to personally about their money, and we still have good relationships after their career. Like that's justification for how they're doing business now.
Clarence, agents obviously protect players, right? But they also do work for the players as well. You said that they have not only just an offer saying, hey, you'll be the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. You kind of reported that they have terms. Like they have other details to this potential agreement between Micah and Jerry Jones without David Mulugeta. I'm just wondering, do you have any sense that there could be ever a possibility where Micah says, David, OTAs are coming up. Let's just do this. I'm here. I'm bringing you to water. Go fish. Like, is there any chance of that?
No. I don't think so. I mean, Michael's a big kid, and we know that, and I think he likes to talk and certainly likes to be involved. But I think he respects his agent. We saw the tweet that Jesse pointed out that certainly I have in my story today about how he respects his agent and how important his agent is and how important agents are to not letting players get taken advantage of. I don't see a situation where he cuts the agent out of the process at all.
I'm giving you an assignment. I'm not your boss, but I'm giving you an assignment.
His face.
I said I'm not your boss. I didn't say I was your boss, but I'm giving you an assignment. You have to take the quote from Jerry about not knowing the agent name and see what David Malugeta has to say.
Not a bad
about
idea,
that.
actually.
I don't know if David wants to go on the record about it, but he's heard the quote. I've already sent it to him. Don't worry about it.
Pop, pop, pop.
And y'all call me messy, Jesse.
Yeah,
Best things out there. He said it for everybody, but
That's reporting.
He's seen it. He's seen it.
Shout out to Jerry thinking that that's going to work. Like thinking that by alienating and insulting the man who's going to negotiate the contract, you could, I guess, divide the player and agent and get the things that you want. Like that's the goal here. And good luck. Good luck.
And then to try to say I wasn't trying to demean the agent. Yes, you're demeaning him.
That's the definition of demean.
Yeah,
I don't know his name.
The
I don't even know his
of the
name.
guy who is actually also the representative of probably 5 or 6 guys that have been on your team in the last 5 years.
Yeah, and one of the most powerful
say
agents in NFL.
Yeah. So you knew his name when you were talking to, or maybe you just never knew his name, which would be an interesting follow-up of why didn't you ever know the name of the guy who you negotiated like 8 contracts with? That's weird.
Yeah. and also a Longhorn.
And what?
And also a Longhorn.
Oh, nobody cares about that, Clarence. I've actually never heard of that school. Actually, never heard.
Final Four, baby. Women's Final Four.
Never
Hey,
heard of
Jesse,
that
I
school.
told you-
Where's that at? Where's that school
I
at?
told you, my boy, I spoke with you with my boy Ben Johnson yesterday, so he told me to tell you hi.
Oh, you talked to Ben Johnson.
Yes. I put that in Slack this morning, guys. I sent a whole list
we
of
got
things
to
in
show
Slack
it,
this
brother.
morning.
I didn't see it. I missed it.
Put it in a show Slack early.
My bad.
Yeah, we missed
Did
it.
Ben Johnson say good things about me, or you just said hello?
Yeah, man. Yeah. He said great things about you, for sure.
Jerry said he'd rather-
just talking about, and Shotty just talking about, I don't know if you saw the stuff about the 12th. I sent a video of him talking about what they want with the 12th overall pick and the running back. And he talks about premium positions, tackle, cornerback, receiver, quarterback, and certainly a special running back fits into that mode if that's what they're going to do early.
I don't think a running back fits into the mold. Well, yeah.
The
I take
running
it
back, that special won't be on the table most likely.
Yeah, that's true. So when Jerry said that also, I'd rather pay more and get it right than pay less and get it wrong. How does that even apply to Micah Parsons when you know the dollar amount? Like, are you
Well, it's
inferring
him
that
trying
there's
it was a question that was asked about letting those other contracts raise the market. Okay. And he was trying to justify, how it didn't bother him that Jamar Chase and Myles Garrett got those contracts that upped the market, and that doesn't bother him. And that's what he was. It was his hindsight justification and saying, I'd rather, most things in my life, I paid more for the things that I appreciate. And so he said that in so many words before. That's his. I paid more for the Cowboys than they were worth, and all this other stuff. So that was his justification for having to pay the most money because he let the market jump.
why is it so hard for some people to acknowledge when they've made a mistake or
Well, he said he
didn't
knows
win?
money better than anybody. Nobody knows money, and nobody knows how to deal with money better than him.
Oh yeah, I know you know how to put it in your pocket. The Eagles know how to spend it and win the Super Bowl. But I know that I know you know how to stack it. And so I guess you're winning.
And regarding that, I asked him about putting the winner team on the field, and he keeps pointing out that we're the sixth most winningest team of the last 30 years. I don't look at the drought. I don't look at how long it's been since we've been to the Super Bowl. I just look at year by year and where we fit and what we're doing to try to get there. And I don't look at it as a drought, as a negative. Yes, 7-10 was not good enough, and we need to get there. But we're still we're hanging around the rim. I mean, that's a Tad line. Tad's a former basketball guy. Tad Carpenter, PR person, gave him that line about the Cowboys are hanging around the rim, and we've been hanging around the rim. We just haven't gotten it done. But he doesn't want to look at it in terms of 30 years. I don't look at it in that length of time.
I don't think I
You
want
like to
to
hear
talk.
him talk, Jeff. I just want you. You like hearing him talk, and it drives you crazy. So I just want to tell you everything he said, so you can go crazy.
I don't like seriously I'm not trying to like be entertaining or do a show here. Like I don't like talking about Jerry Jones because a lot of the things that he says are super offensive or incredibly worrying if your goal is to win. Like what he is proud of and what he throws at you, if you are a fan of football, that's offensive, man. Like it's my hometown team that I make a living talking about, and I want to, and I love it, and I love football, and I love talking about football. And Jerry talks a lot, and there's always things that come out of it that are worth talking about. But a part of me, I think it's a bad idea for me to talk about him because the more and more I do it, it's like, oh, you hate the Cowboys. Oh, you hate the Cowboys. No, but occasionally I'm absolutely offended by the guy who owns the team and some of the stuff he says. What he said about Mulligetta today, that's offensive. The fact that he says, I know about making money more than anybody to a fan base and then claims, well, I'm the sixth best at winning regular season football games. Shouldn't you be pissed about that? Shouldn't you want to be first at that? Why is your retort to questions about how you build your football team, how much money you make, to a fan base that, I don't know, what's the average salary? What are the ticket prices? Like, I can't believe that he's still loved by so many people.
And the ticket prices have gone up 20. I got a text from a friend of mine who has a season ticket holder. She said the the tickets have gone up 28%. I think they got their ticket package, and they've gone up. Just to speak to
1%
that.
for every year of the drought.
I don't. Jeff, you're lying. You love it. I don't. Like, sure, if you yell stuff in anger in a nice little 60-second clip, people might share it on the internet. It's not. I would much rather sit up here and laugh and talk about the Cowboys and have a great time than I don't like him. Go team, though. Thank you, Clarence.
Keep up the good work, Clarence.
Appreciate you guys.
Keep going to those parties.
All right, coming up next, let's do something way more fun. Let's actually talk about football.
Yeah.
Brian Schottenheimer had some things to say, dropping hints about what they might do with their first-round pick. Let's boogie. It's next on the DLLS Cowboys podcast. All right, shout out to us. AllDLLS.com/diehard is where you go if you want to sign up to be a diehard, get access to everything about all of your favorite sports teams. You love the local sports teams, you need to sign up to be a diehard and get the access to the diehard level content, including Clarence's article from today. He's got one here on Brian Schottenheimer and his aha moment as the Cowboys coach and what he wants with the 12th pick, the Cowboys and Micah Parsons stuff, Kumar Rocker things with the Rangers, all sorts of great content. We also want to encourage you to sign up for the golf tournament April 25th. That will be the day after the first rounds of the NFL draft. So it'll be day 2 of the NFL draft. We have our golf tournament at Stevens Park in Dallas early in the day. And then in the evening, we'll be on for day 2 of the NFL draft. And you get a discount when you sign up for the inaugural Lone Star Open. You get a discount if you are signed up to be a diehard. And Stevens Park is super fun to play. We love it. We love it.
And it's gonna be phenomenal. But the great part about it is the fellowship, is that the diehards, the fans, the people, our family, you can just spend time with us and we can talk about anything while we're playing golf. We can laugh, we can joke. Our phones will be buzzing all day long from things happening, around the star as they're preparing for the second round of the draft. And so that stuff you'll be able to have access to because you'll be right there on the golf course with us. So you don't want to miss that opportunity to be right there when all this action is going on and our phones are ringing and buzzing because you're going to be boots on the ground. Clarence going to be boots on the ground.
Clarence for sure will be, and then I might be at the golf tournament or I might be boots on the ground.
So all this stuff is going to be happening and Joe's going to be popping stuff into us. We can be sitting there on hole 8 and be like, you know what? The Cowboys just traded back before anybody else know it. You'll know because you'll be right there with us. Don't miss the opportunity to go out here and golf with us on the 25th.
25th. And right after we realize that, I'll probably be about 138 out holding a pitching wedge. Smack it off the hosel. The ball will go 9 yards to my right, and then I'll go try it again. Hit it just right. Let's go.
Golfer number 2 is always better.
Hit it just right. Let's catch up on the Super Chats. I'd like to apologize for everything. Let's see. We already did Captain Thunder things.
No, there was another one.
Yeah, you want to respect Jesse. Yes. Captain Thunder.
Just slide by the respect that they have for
you're
me
right.
here.
You're
Even
right.
though sometimes Captain Thunder's not always on the.
You're right, Carlos. Captain Thunder is how I describe the nightmare that happened to my toilet last night after Taco Bell and cheap tequila.
That's a great combination. I don't understand what happened to your toilet.
Blood slinger. Love the show. Do the Cowboys take an undrafted kicker to compete with Aubrey? I mean, sure.
They could.
Corey's in the super chat. Matthew Golden and Jesse just staring off. Sorry, I didn't get to these in a timely fashion, so we may not know exactly where they came through at, but I love everyone who sent one. Hamzone, good day, everybody. Draft question. What's up with DJ Giddens? Not hearing his name. Kansas State running back. No.
Yeah, Kansas State, yeah.
Yeah, Kansas State. Neil is Kansas. You'll hear his name on day 3.
He's good.
Chris is in the super chat. This is great and all. See you in August, Micah.
See how you guys.
Dave, NASCAR driver. We finished in the top 10, but didn't win. Let's get rid of the steering wheel. Does that feel about right, Dak haters? Dan Myers, actively rooting against the team you are a fan of because you've dug your heels in on the owner or a certain player you don't like is a weird flex. I've never understood it. The Dak haters are wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the other people in the chat.
Carrie, Freak Jesus. So this is all Jerry's fault. Mike is not signed. Why are you blaming the old folks?
Would never.
JJ, billionaires will do billionaire things. Hope Micah can get max value for him and his loved ones.
Very rational.
Nesto, you know you can't anything Jerry says serious. Literally, Dak said, we don't take Jerry for face value. Remember, he said Zeke who? That is, yeah. Night 405, Golden/Ewers, Ibuka/Howard, or Tez/Gabriel for a poor man's Burrow Chase combo.
Yeah, that's a poor. Listen,
those are all very poor.
That ain't even poor.
That's
po.
I think that last one was great.
That's po.
I think the last one was fantastic.
Tez Johnson, Dylan
And
Gabriel.
I think two very small, undersized guys.
Together, they weigh 125 pounds.
Yes.
I think we could get Dak and CD up out of here. If we had
For
Dylan
Tez and
Gabriel
Dylan.
and Tez Johnson, we'd be ready to rock. Brian Schottenheimer talked about actual football.
Yeah.
And is probably a reasonable, rational human being, which is great. But he was talking about actual football things. And I would like to play one of them for you because I think it gives us hints about what they might be thinking about in the first round and how they want to build this team. So here is Brian Schottenheimer talking about all of the football things for you.
Again, the starting point would be best player available. You know, you're always looking for game changers when you're picking 12. Like, we don't want to ever pick 12th again. All right, let's be honest. We don't want to pick that high. But you're looking for guys that influence the game. How do you influence the game? You rush the quarterback and you get sacks, strip sacks, fumbles, whatever it is. You score touchdowns. Okay, so those are usually, I look at it this way: you build it from the outside in. So you got corners, receivers, they get isolated one-on-one. Pass rushers, tackles, they get isolated one-on-one. And then obviously the quarterback position. But usually that's the way I've looked at it, is when you're building a roster, kind of think of it from building it from outside in, based on guys that get isolated a lot. Because when you're isolated and you can't help, it's a pretty daunting task sometimes.
And that video is courtesy of John Machota. Outside in,
Fascinating.
I thought was interesting. And I wanted to see if anybody wanted to push back on
Better be interesting.
that. I just want to see if anybody wanted
me.
to push back on that.
I'll push.
The receiver will?
Yeah,
Wow.
I'll push. I'll push back on that. I think that's a flawed. I think that's a flawed way to go about it. I think outside in, while we're talking about definitely skill positions, if you can't protect it, then you can't achieve it. If outside in, if you're talking about a receiver or a cornerback is where you're trying to look first and not looking at protecting the trenches and getting that, like we've seen, unless you have the best quarterback in the world. And we saw this year that wasn't enough. When you cannot protect the trenches. Yeah. That in this team, for everything that it says it wants to be. We want to be a running team. We want to have our quarterback upright. They're not saying the things that equal to that. Like we've heard Schottenheimer and company talk about how they want to run the football. They don't have a running back today that can effectively do that on a consistent basis at a high level. I don't believe they do.
No.
We talked about they talked about that they want to run the football. You need a running back and you need holes for the running back to run through. And then your quarterback coming off of a season-ending injury is a guy that you want to keep upright.
Yeah.
And now the offensive lineman that you currently have today won't be able to do that. And I don't care how much you talk about Brock Hoffman, you'll take him in a bar fight. We ain't bar fighting. We're playing football. So bar fighting, cool. You go to Concrete Cowboy, you take Brock Hoffman with you, and you have as many bar fights as you want.
Hell yeah.
That don't work on a football field.
Yeah, it's fascinating that he said
It better
this.
be fascinating.
It's fascinating he said this considering the team that they have. Because right now their trenches are pretty devoid of high-end talent, right? Because the offensive line, like if Tyler Guyton had hit and Cooper Beebe had been, first team all-pro center in year one, and Brock Hoffman had came in and really looked fantastic rather than just serviceable, I'd be like, okay, I see what you're saying. You got the 12th pick. Go out and get a receiver like that and make sure you do that. Go sign a big, explosive number 2 free agent wide receiver like, Steven has kind of insinuated they might want. But right now, you have so many questions on the offensive line, in terms of high-end protection for Dak Prescott and opening up holes for a running back that you don't have yet. And then the defensive line right now is not good.
Yeah.
Frankly. Like, they have some guys. They added a couple guys. But right now it's a rotation of guys that have either something to prove or have proven that their cap in terms of their talent is pretty low. I think that they need to add more to that rotation. I kind of get what you're saying in terms of at the 12th overall pick, go get yourself a playmaker. Go get yourself a guy that can kind of make things happen when things are not there. But in terms of an overall team-building philosophy, I think this is where he's misstepped. And I wonder if that's maybe where, early morning interview he got confused, frankly. Because, I don't... This doesn't even jive with what he's said in the past, what he said later on in the interview, and what he's shown in terms of what he wanted as an offensive play caller in previous places.
I don't think he got confused or misspoke. I think that he meant it, and to me it's what makes football my favorite sport on the planet. Because you can say, I think this is the most important, this is the most, because what is the most important position in football?
Quarterback,
yeah.
The best one just got his ass kicked in the Super Bowl because they couldn't protect him.
Correct. Exactly.
And the other team just had better players everywhere. So I guess in a perfect world, does that then make everybody think I should put everything I can into the offensive line and then figure it out from there? Because it is a copycat league. And that could be a thing that, the Bears are absolutely prioritizing offensive line. But I think what he was doing was kind of, he's aware of positional value in the NFL. Quarterbacks are $60 million players. Let's go outside. Receivers are $40 million players. Corners are now, $28, $30 million players. Guards aren't. Centers aren't. Linebackers aren't. Nose tackles aren't. He is talking about the premium spots.
He said edge rushers and tackles as well in that. So
edge rushers are $40 million players, and offensive tackles are $30 million players. So and I agree with him in theory. And it's all right, great. We're good at all the premium positions. And then you go play a team that can just blow you off the line of scrimmage all day, and you go, crap.
You don't have
Congrats on all our premium positions.
You don't have time. You don't have time to get to them.
But in theory, it's easier to find your right guard and your center than it is your shutdown corner or your 1,500-yard receiver. And that's why your early resources, I agree with him.
But not to beat a dead horse, but this is what frustrates me, and we go back to the end of the offseason. It's you can have that mentality and that mindset if you do the work in the free agency pool, securing those spots that we're talking about, securing those spots in the inside offensive line, defensive line. Now when you get to the draft, you can start talking about those things. But when you have so many holes and needs, it makes it very difficult to lock in on saying a receiver when you don't know who your left tackle is going to be.
But I think they think they do. Yeah.
They do.
That's what I was saying when you're talking about hey, if you assured these things up in free agency, I think they did that. And he kind of alluded to that a little bit, that we made a lot of signings in positions where we can go in the draft. And he said the words best player available, which is, I think, encouraging for everyone to hear. But I think that they think that their free agent signings have shored up all their needs.
Yeah, I think, and I do think it goes back to a Jerry Jones ego thing. They're not admit mistake people, and you shouldn't write off your first. I'm not saying cut Tyler Guyton, but I am saying you shouldn't want to go into another season if you claim your goal is to win the Super Bowl, penciling in the guy who couldn't play over Chuma Edoga. I don't think that penciling him in as your left tackle is a good idea, but I think that's the way they do business. We used a first-round pick on him. He'll be great.
He'll take the step.
Yeah,
we talked about improvement plans with guys like Flournoy, Mingo, Tolbert. They're going to take the next step because we're coaches and we can develop them. That's what we got college coaches.
I appreciate the naming of the big money positions as what you would like to do when you're picking at 12. And if the organization is aligned with Brian Schottenheimer's thoughts on that, I do think it's fun if we think that we can narrow down their options to offensive tackle, pass rusher, cornerback, receiver,
and running back if GNC's there.
And that's just thrown in because we think he's special. That doesn't line up. That doesn't line up with what he said he wants to do at 12, right? He didn't say running back.
No, but he said guys
because that's as inside out as you can get.
I know.
Is the guy who is not only in the dead center of the field, he's not at the point of attack at the dead center of the field.
But he also said guys that make plays in isolation, and GNT has proven over and over again that my offensive line can be booty in front of me, and I can make guys miss. That's why he's the exception, is what I'm saying at 12.
Yeah, I think I do think they would pick him. What's that?
I am pushing an agenda.
No, I do think they would pick him, but I don't think it fits into his words. Because I think in isolation, what he means is the receiver versus the corner.
No, I hear you. I hear you.
Scroll down, Kat, quickly. Just a few. I love this. Timothy, great. Jesse's making horse bleep again.
Uh-oh.
Why did the rushing yards go up and the sacks and interceptions go down when Dak's backup went in? Thank you for answering your own question.
Rushing yards go up and the sacks and INTs. Yeah, I agree. I think Cooper Rush is probably a better player than Dak. I think that things would go great if you just – Jerry might think that. That's not impossible. But yeah. So I guess we can get into the Steven stuff on wide receiver too, because I love wide receivers. And the idea that at least somebody is acknowledging that there is. Huh?
We going home.
No, I said we can talk about it tomorrow. You're right.
Oh, tomorrow?
We'll
talk about tomorrow.
I'm just excited
I
about
thought you was
tomorrow.
I thought you was geared to go.
No, not gearing up. No, I don't want to.
to.
I don't want to do extra today. Like the owner of the team has put me in a bad mood, and it comes off bad on the air, and I don't like doing it. So everybody have a great day, and remember, you have no idea what anybody is going through, including Jerry. So I need to be kinder. So be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.
We all silly like the mayor.